Patton. Well, your show business apprenticeship is interrupted by call-up for national service, and after 2 years of army boots, it's back to tap shoes, playing at the variety halls and working men's clubs. Then, attempting a spectacular leap, you suffer a severe leg injury. For 13 months, you can't dance, but still, you go back to the clubs and gag your way through. And when you can dance again, the comedy stays. But, Rikki, when you first met him on the same bill at the Pittsmoor Club, Sheffield, in 1953, right, yeah. You didn't think he was very funny, did you?
No, because he came... I did my spot, Eamonn, and he came across backstage, knocked on my dressing room door. I opened it, and he said, "You're terrible. You'll never do anything. You're really rotten. You really are." He said, "I'd like to help you," and he did. Otherwise, as well.
But he had a suggestion to help your career, hadn't he?
Yes. I was singing opera songs then, and it didn't go very well down with the pints of beer and what have you, and he suggested I sang something a bit more popular. And along with other things he advised me to do, I took his advice and it seemed to work. It
certainly did. He must have been very persuasive, because 2 years later you got married in Sheffield Cathedral on April 28, 1955. And Ronnie, if you look at that screen, you'll see a photograph treasured ever since by a special guest at that wedding, a dear friend, a Hollywood actor who was filming here in this country, and you haven't met for 20 years,
Nick.
Until tonight, because
Nick,
we've flown him from Hollywood to be your special guest again, Nick Cravat. Well, now, he's obviously touched to see you. How did you come to be at Ronnie's wedding, Nick?
Well, it was... He talks with a thick Brooklyn accent. That's why they don't let him talk. It was 1955. That was when I first met you. Isn't that so, Ronnie? That's right. And sometime later, he told me he was going to be married. Through the years, this is no kidding. This is really from my heart. All through the years, I had thought about you and Rikki.
Thank you.
And how flattered I was, and so on, for asking me to be your best man.
And as soon as we picked up the phone to L.A., he said, "I'm there. I love them both. Thank you, Mr. Cravat." Thank you, Nick. Now, while Rikki was having the family, Ronnie, you went solo for a while, and one night at the Darnall Horticultural Club in Sheffield 17 years ago, you amazed a young comedian on the same bill.
Ronnie jumped on the tables and started dancing between the pint pots.
Your old pal and concert chairman of television's Wheel Tappers and Shunters Social Club, Colin Crompton, and with him another good friend of yours, comedian Norman Collier. That must have been quite an eye-opener, dancing between the pints, eh?
It's a bigger eye-opener, Rikki keeping it quiet. Oh, yeah, he jumped on the tables, Eamonn, he danced between the pint pots. I thought, what a nutter. I'd never seen him before, and he's jumping about like... I thought, why doesn't he learn a joke, you know?
But seriously, Norman, despite his busy life on stage, he's a very generous man with his time for charity, isn't he?
Well, generous, Ronnie, I don't know. He's done that many charities. You know, you can't name them, Eamonn. I don't know he earns a living.
I don't. That's what I keep telling the income tax. They won't believe it.
Right, so you see, there was one place that we did, Ronnie. Remember that that prison that we did?
Oh, yes.
We even did a prison, Eamonn. And so we got there. So we get to this prison and blah, 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 and we're chatting away, and so Ronnie, so he said, "How long do you do?" So Ronnie says, "Well, I do about 3 years." So it comes off, does the act, and we're chatting backstage sort of thing, and we're packing up and everything. I'm packing my gear up, I'm putting the chicken to bed, and we got locked in. So he said, "If we're going to get out of here, let me out." He said, "If you've got to go there, it's a trap door." So eventually, the fellow came around with a bunch of keys, and he said, "Look, you've done very well, lad, tonight." He says, "What we'll have to do," he said, "when you come back again, if we're going to pay you," he said, "it'll be bread and water."
Colin, you've got a message for him, haven't you?
On behalf of the committee! glad you did well at the Wheel Tappers and Shunters Club and that you got this good booking at the London Club. Affiliated.
Thank you, Colin Crompton, Norman Collier. Well, you know how warmly by now the whole business feels about you, Ronnie, and there's a stage and television star here to speak for them all, which is appropriate because he's a man of so many voices. He's dashed over from his own show at London's Victoria Palace, and it is Mike Yarwood. Mike, I know that you've worked with him in the clubs yourself, but what makes him so popular with his own professionals?
Well, you thought I was you tonight, but that's not the case. I'll speak in my own voice. I think that what makes Ronnie and Rikki a favourite with the professionals is because they are professional. They work so hard at their act. I work with them only the once, actually. We avoid working with Ronnie and Rikki because you might have to follow them, you know? But we did a charity show, and Reg Swinson rang me up from the Variety Artists Benevolent Fund, and he said Ronnie Jukes and Rikki Lee would be on the bill. But they said, but I closed the bill because they were going to close the first half. And I managed to work it so they closed the second half and I closed the first half, because that's how difficult they are to follow. They're a great act, and I wish you continued success, and God bless you both.
Well said. Thank you, Mike Yarwood. Serves you right. Ronnie, there was one member of your family who was not in on the act on your royal night because she was tucked up in bed. But if you look at that screen over there, you can see that she's already showing signs of that well-known family talent. Your 4-year-old daughter, Jolie.
Daddy's getting ready. He's taking us to town. He better put his bracelets on or his stones will fall down. I don't want to say it anymore because I'll get rid of it.
Well, she missed the Royal Variety Show, but she's not missing tonight. Here to complete the family that means the world to you, your daughter, Jolie. A reminder of a never-to-be-forgotten week for you. Ronnie Jukes, this is your life.